Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is our podcast ministry here at Crossroads on air, and I'm excited tonight. Have some wonderful folks in here. We're going to talk about community and the ministry here called Re-Engage for Marriage. I'm here with the Applebys, Blake and Alana, longtime friends. Blake is responsible in many ways of getting me here, Michelle, so any problems, you can blame him about that. And the Bronsteins over here, it's excited to have you guys. So you guys have been in Aspen for 20 years?
We have off and on. We moved here in 1996.
I think so, 95 or 96.
And we left for 9 years to live in Phoenix, and then we returned in 2012.
Fantastic. And have one son, right?
Yes, he was born here in Aspen.
Yeah, fantastic. Donovan off to school now, off to college, right? Yep. We're excited about that. That's great. And Appleby's, neighbors in the hood. Ben and Alex, all the kiddos, growing up all together. It's been a lot of fun. Yep. But we wanted to come together and talk about two things, just community, the importance of community. And I want to just throw that out big. And then I want to hear from you guys about this, about Re-Engage, which is a ministry out of church in Dallas, which is for marriage ministry. And it's just awesome stuff. And how many years now have y'all done Re-Engage?
Yeah, we're on 5 years.
Wow, that's impressive. So, and how many years have y'all?
This is second.
Second.
Our second year at Re-Engage.
Michelle and I went through it last year. It's awesome stuff. But just to get us into this, though, just because we live in this crazy time now where we have a hard time connecting. Everybody's looking for community, relationships, and everything. Let's bat around a little bit. Community, and especially what you've got. How many years now in Aspen for you guys?
Well, I'm at 29.
Wow.
Alana's at 28.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
We're like the not locals yet here. So talk to us a little bit about your experience, the importance of community, why this is so critical. We'll move to marriage, obviously, that marriage community is important, but just on a larger scale, just for folks, and maybe let's talk about kind of, just some steps. If people are thinking, well, I know I need community, but what are some practical ways just to step in and start connecting?
That's you. I think I would start with the fact that Aspen can be a very difficult place to live when it just comes down to trying to have relationships with people. Yeah. It's for starters, very transient community as a resort town. And I think that just culturally in general, people are not quick to want to engage in any kind of relationship of any kind of depth.
Yeah.
So it takes some real intentionality on our parts to do that. And, even within the church, I think it's very easy to come on Sunday and put on your face and everything's great and never really engage with people.
Right.
So I know, for me personally in my story, I really found myself in my early 20s of realizing I didn't have any significant relationships in my life and really had not. And, came to a point where I realized that there was a big hole for me that I really needed to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Lana, anything to add to that?
I think I agree with all of that. And then I also think that, as we know, the social media just gives us one side of people, a side that they want to project. And I think that it's easy to know a lot of people without any depth. And we just live really busy lives. And before you know it, you don't have any solid people that know what's really happening in your life. And
that's right.
It takes effort to be a friend, and it takes effort to have a friend.
Yeah, like on our side, if I want community, it takes on our part, doesn't it, the desire or the willingness to be known. And that's kind of scary sometimes, right? Just even like the great testimony we hear from you guys, we have to step out there and really be willing to be known to open that door for healthy, relationships, right, and community. So, what about you guys? Just thoughts on community with the years y'all have been here? And
I think Blake mentioned that Aspen is a very transient town, and when we moved back to Aspen after leaving for several years, Donovan was in 6th grade, and I think we wanted to set a really great example of community for Donovan, because he was coming into a school where he didn't know anyone, and we really encouraged him to go out and meet people. And so we felt like we really wanted to be the example for that. And so I personally felt like it was great to get involved with the parents of some of his friends and really try to get to know people and form that group that you could really count on, taking care of each other and also the kids at the same time.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And I agree with everything that's said. I think Aspen, it's a small resort town.
Right.
And as such, I think the opportunities for a variety of different communities to join or be interested in are somewhat limited. If you're not a skier, that's a big community that's kind of out of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
If you're a hospitality worker, that's a small community you can be in, but finding fellowship outside of that group is difficult in this town. Yeah. So I think places like Crossroads Church or community places that bring in different levels of the community have that commonality that help.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Just real quick before we move to re-engage, just some thoughts. I think that was some great things, but any just practical things for people who are watching who are like, what's that first step, how to move towards community? Just any nuggets on that you might have for whether it's a single person or a married person?
Well, for me, I think the first thing is let go of your preconceptions of what group you're in.
Yeah, that's good.
And get to a place where a variety of different Aspen groups, whether it's the higher end second homeowners or the resort workers or whoever it is, find a place where those people gather and then choose the groups that you feel comfortable in.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent. Anybody else? Thoughts?
Yeah, I would add, you have to be willing to commit.
Yeah.
It's really simple. We all laugh
big
about
word.
the Aspen thing where no one commits because you wait for a better offer, right?
Yep.
So I may ski, but, I don't want to go with the wrong person or maybe too cold or whatever. And I think that at the end of the day, it's just a willingness to say, I am going to commit to being in some sort of relationship with someone. And I'm not talking serious dating. I'm just talking.
Well, that kind of helps before you get there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Worked for me. But I think a willingness to make it a priority.
It's great.
I want to get to know people. I want to be in their lives. And conversely, I want to allow them to be in my life.
Yeah.
Okay,
last question before we move to re-engage. I got a lot that keep coming to me. But what would you say to the person that says, I've tried to come to church and, it's just too hard to connect. I don't fit in or nobody said hi to me. Well, what would you say to that person?
I would tell that person that they should try possibly a smaller group within the church, get involved in a re-engage or get involved in a Bible study. I know for Dan and I, we're not always able to come to church because we work in the hospitality industry and we work on Sunday mornings, and it's nearly impossible for us to get to church on a regular basis. And so we've tried to connect in the smaller groups within the church where you can really create those close relationships because it's a much smaller dynamic to deal with.
It's fantastic. Wonderful. Anybody add to that? That was great.
I also think that we're working at community. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if two people that really want community but neither know how to do it come together, it doesn't work. Right. And so if you really are looking for community, go to the groups that are absolutely making space for that. Yeah. And that will cause commitment and cause you to make a commitment. And the other thing I think that it's important to understand is there are cycles to these groups. There's this, we're amazing, we're all so alike cycle. And then there's this, we're actually really different cycle. Yeah, and then it's sometimes you never even get to the third cycle where you learn to be in community together. You learn to work through the differences.
Absolutely.
You learn how to love someone when they aren't easy to love. And they learn how to love you when you're not easy to love. And so I think that we have often started groups and never got to the final phase, which is really God's desire for us, is to depend on Him for love and forgiveness and grace. And so we just feel frustrated because, we're not connecting. Well, most likely we haven't learned how to connect because we haven't committed yet.
It's great. Absolutely. Well, that's good stuff. Well, let me transition to the Reengage, which you all have been overseeing now, and obviously you all helping for a couple of years in all that. Talk to us about this ministry for married folks. Why should our married folks, and actually we have some engaged, right, or almost engaged, and so just talk to us about the ministry and why people should sign up.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the Reengage was developed at Watermark Church in Dallas,
Texas.
And we were invited to be a part of it 5 or so years ago, and just found that the curriculum was very well done, very powerful, biblically based, and we found it to be a profound experience when it came to learning how to grow in our marriage. So from a big picture standpoint, it's for anybody that desires to work on their marriage. One of the things they talk about, doesn't matter if your marriage is a 10 or a 2, there is something that you'll take away from that. And I think even our experience has been, over the years, we continually find things that we can do better, and that there's always something that we can do better, and it's been very encouraging for us. As you said, this go around, we have a couple that's engaged.
Wonderful.
I think what a fantastic foundation for them to step into their marriage with a lot of the tools that you take from Reengage. We have a couple that has been married for maybe 3 months.
Wonderful.
And they're in a group with couples that have been married for 30 plus years. So what a fantastic opportunity and community to be together and just talk about God's design for marriage.
It's fantastic. And you don't have to be a part of the church. You don't even have to really be, quote, a professing Christian, right, to come and
That's right.
really just to step into it.
Yeah, it's biblically based. It's 16 weeks. But, people, there's something about absolute truth that we associate with the Bible that resonates with people. And we've had some Jewish couples. We've had couples that don't have faith at all. And we embrace all of that because I think that they would say that they had a fantastic experience.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's great. Alana, you guys, anything about Reengage? Just what this ministry's mean to you? Why you're a part of it, and why some folks should really sign up in this next round and dive in and be a part of it.
There are really 2 reasons, and you mentioned one, which is it's been probably the only marriage resource we've ever had that we felt has been really impactful for us. I mean, we've really uncovered some great areas that we can do better and love each other well. But there's also the community piece for us. This is the only place that we actually really connect to people at church. On Sunday, it's just too busy.
Right.
There's just too much going on, and all the other places that you can serve, it's often only one way. This is really a wonderful place for us to meet other couples.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And so it has become our community. Yeah. Every year, it's like a 9-month cycle where we spend time, spend a night a week with these couples, and it's like a double, triple date, and we just end up having fun and getting to know,
Right. Well, and that's back what Dyan was saying, just to get into that smaller, find that smaller that group to be a part of. That's great.
We just won't make a once-a-week social commitment. It seems like a lot. So you really have to work at making this happen, but it's always really rewarding.
It's fantastic. Wonderful. What about you guys?
Who better to answer the question than the couple who just gave personal
an incredible testimony
in front
God's
of,
grace.
40 other people.
Yeah.
Super powerful. And I think the question is, what would compel you guys to do that?
Well, you did.
That's first.
That's fair.
Blake, then God, right?
Yeah.
So,
Reengage has has really clarified for me not only my relationship with God, but my relationship with my wife, my community, and everything else. It's easy to kind of go through life doing what you want to do, hiding what you don't want other people to see, and talking about things that make you look good instead of make you look bad or vulnerable. That's an easy way to do it, and in this town, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get those deep relationships. What Reengage has done for me personally, and I can't speak for Dyan, is it's given me a safe place to really kind of open those doors of things that maybe I didn't want to admit to myself, let alone to anybody else. But being able to do it in a safe space with a reason, and instead of just nobody made me, but there's a reason out there that I'm able to talk about those things without any fear of retribution.
Sure.
So for me, looking at it, Reengage has helped our marriage by making me a more honest, open person.
It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Yeah, powerful. That's great. So your time, just maybe building off just a little bit of your testimony, tonight, but just obviously your time together working has caused you to, this has really allowed the gospel in Christ, right, to kind of awaken, in your marriage, just your faith, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
After 20 years, all the seasons that you go through in marriage from, he can't do anything wrong and everything's amazing to, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And just having God's word and foundation to focus on, to be the center of our marriage and learn from that.
Fantastic.
It's been amazing to see how Dan and I both are able to deal with anything that comes up, whether it's fantastic or, we give all the praise to God, or whether it's something that we really need his guidance on. It's just helped us remain focused.
And kind of come full circle, boy, it just shows we need each other, right? I mean, we need each other. We need other couples involved in our marriages, and we need community, right, to grow, right, and to really stay healthy, right, in many ways. Well, thank you all for sharing. It was powerful tonight. It was awesome. Any other thoughts?
Well, I was going to say that
questions?
One of the verses that we talk about is anything hidden cannot be healed. And there's something very powerful of sharing hurts or challenges or, sins or whatever with a trusted, either whether it's a spouse or, a trusted friend. God blesses that.
Yeah.
And there's a freedom that we experience when you get that stuff out of you and just speak it.
Yep.
And you can be free of it. And it was really cool to hear you guys and your willingness to be vulnerable and say, yeah, here it is, right? And instead of repelling people, I think it draws people.
Absolutely.
It draws people in like, wow.
Yeah, I can relate to those people, or I would like to be with, absolutely.
Yeah, and so it does come back to that builds community.
Absolutely. And I think we've most of us, if we've grown up in the church, we've experienced probably that just that tendency, right, just to put on the church face or clothes, right? Everything's fine, everything's good, when that can be so disillusioning, right? If we don't have a chance to come in and really have an avenue, right, to just let it down, be real, be honest who we are, and let God work, the Holy Spirit work through that process. And thank y'all for sharing. It's powerful. Anything else? Anybody got anything to add to that? And thank y'all for sharing. And again, thank y'all for tuning in. And please, if you have any questions about this wonderful ministry, Reengage, see either one of these couples. And also, if you just have questions about community, how to plug in, also plug in, which would be great. But that's it for now. Thank y'all.
Awesome.